had been worried that things might get complicated, but Amanda's calmness reassured him. They said their goodbyes, and Amanda went inside her apartment while Andrew drove home. A few days later, Andrew's father called him. He wanted Amanda to spend the weekend at the family house. His father had grown fond of her even more than Andrew had expected. Amanda had charmed him completely, and now he wanted to get to know her better. Andrew felt a knot in his stomach, knowing that keeping this act up was becoming more complicated. But he had no choice. His father's approval was everything. When Andrew told Amanda about the invitation, she agreed without hesitation. More money and more time in a comfortable house were good enough reasons for her. She packed a small bag and made sure to look her best when Andrew picked her up. As they arrived at the family estate, Andrew's father greeted Amanda with open arms. He was clearly thrilled to see her again, treating her like she was already part of the family. He showered her with compliments, telling her how much he admired her grace and intelligence. Amanda smiled politely, keeping up the act. It was all going according to plan, and she was playing her part perfectly. But Andrew's mother wasn't so easily convinced. From the moment Amanda stepped through the door, his mother's eyes followed her, watching every move. She was suspicious, though she couldn't explain why. Something about Amanda didn't sit right with her. She felt like she had seen Amanda before, but she couldn't place where. And beyond that, she didn't believe the story Andrew had told them about how they met. It all felt too rushed, too convenient. As the weekend went on, Andrew's father only grew more attached to Amanda. He loved how well she spoke, how kind she was to everyone, and how she seemed to understand the family so well. He would pull Andrew aside, praising Amanda and telling him how lucky he was to have found such a wonderful woman. Andrew forced a smile each time, knowing the truth but unable to say anything. Amanda, meanwhile, did her best to blend in. She talked with Andrew's father, laughed at his jokes, and charmed the other guests who visited during the weekend. But every time she looked over at Andrew's mother, she could feel the coldness in her stare. The tension was undeniable. Later that night, when they were alone, Amanda brought it up to Andrew. She told him she didn't think his mother liked her. There was something in the way she looked at her, something off. Andrew sighed, knowing his mother well. He assured Amanda not to worry. His mother could be difficult sometimes, but this was all just temporary. They only had to keep up the act for a little longer, and once the company was his, everything would be fine. He promised Amanda that he would find a perfect solution soon. Amanda nodded, but she wasn't fully convinced. She knew Andrew's mother was no fool. If she kept digging, it wouldn't be long before she uncovered the truth. But for now, she would stick to the plan. The money was too good to walk away from, and she had already come too far. The weekend ended with Andrew's father more convinced than ever that Amanda was the right woman for his son. He even began talking about wedding plans, telling Andrew that he couldn't wait to see them married and start a family. Andrew, trapped by his own lies, could only smile and nod, knowing he was running out of time to come up with a better solution. As they drove back to Amanda's apartment, the weight of the situation began to press on Andrew. He knew he couldn't keep this up forever. His father was expecting a marriage, his mother was growing more suspicious, and Amanda, though playing her part, wasn't someone he could truly rely on for the long term. He needed to figure out what to do before everything spirals out of control. Amanda, on the other hand, was already counting the money in her head, wondering just how much more she could get out of this arrangement before it all came crashing down. Monica, Andrew's girlfriend, had grown suspicious of Andrew over the past few weeks. He had been distant, not answering her calls like before, and his excuses for missing their usual dates were getting more ridiculous. She knew something was off. After hearing that Andrew had been spending time with Amanda, she decided to investigate. It didn't take long for her to find out that Amanda was the same homeless girl Andrew had shouted at in the street weeks earlier. The pieces of the puzzle began to come together, and Monica realized that Andrew and Amanda had planned the whole thing. Angry and feeling betrayed, Monica went straight to Amanda's apartment. She knocked on the door, and when Amanda opened it, she was met with Monica's fury. Without holding back, Monica told Amanda to leave Andrew alone. She claimed that Andrew was her boyfriend, not Amanda's, and that Amanda had no right to be with him. Amanda didn't flinch. Instead, she looked at Monica with a smirk, as if she found the whole situation amusing. She stood in the doorway, arms crossed, and listened to Monica's rant. When Monica finished, Amanda simply shrugged and told her that she wasn't going anywhere. She insulted Monica, calling her desperate and pathetic for clinging to a man who clearly wasn't interested in her anymore. Amanda reminded Monica that she was the one Andrew had chosen to bring home, not her. Monica, embarrassed and humiliated, had no choice but to leave. She had come expecting to scare Amanda away, but instead she left feeling defeated. However, she wasn't ready to give up. As soon as she got home, she came up with a new plan. If she couldn't get rid of Amanda directly, she would use Andrew's mother to do the job. The next morning, Monica called Andrew's mother. She told her everything. How Andrew and Amanda had lied about their relationship, how Amanda was really a homeless orphan, and how the entire thing had been a plan to win over Andrew's father. She emphasized that Amanda was from a poor background, a fact she knew would upset Andrew's mother more than anything else. When Andrew's mother heard the news, she was furious. The thought of her son marrying someone from such a background disgusted her. She had always believed that Andrew should marry someone from a wealthy family, someone who came from the same high social standing as theirs. Poor people, in her eyes, were beneath them. She felt they could never understand the life her family lived, and she certainly didn't want her son to be tied to someone like Amanda. Her mind raced with anger and disappointment. How could Andrew have lied to them all? And how could he even consider marrying a girl from the streets? The more she thought about it, the more her anger grew. She had never liked Amanda from the start, sensing that something was off. Now, with this new information, her suspicions were confirmed. Andrew's mother sat in her luxurious living room, gripping the phone tightly as Monica continued to spill details about Amanda's past. By the end of the conversation, she had made up her mind. She was not going to let her son marry a poor girl like Amanda, no matter what. To her, this wasn't just about love or feelings, it was about protecting the family's status and legacy. Monica hung up the phone, feeling satisfied. She knew Andrew's mother would handle Amanda from here. In her mind, it was only a matter of time before Amanda was out of the picture, and Andrew would come back to her where he belonged. Meanwhile, Andrew's mother wasted no time. She began plotting how to confront her son and expose the truth about Amanda to the rest of the family. In her eyes, Andrew's decision to be with Amanda was nothing more than a foolish mistake, and she was determined to correct it. The idea of her son being tied to a poor orphan was unbearable. Andrew was sitting in his office when his mother barged in, her face full of anger. She didn't waste any time. She confronted him about Amanda. The moment she started speaking, Andrew knew Monica had told her everything. His mother was furious. She demanded to know why he had lied to the family and how he could even think about marrying a homeless orphan. Andrew, realizing he was caught, quickly stood up and tried to calm her down. He begged her not to tell his father about any of this. He explained that it was all just a plan, something he had come up with to get his father's approval. He assured her that he didn't have any real feelings for Amanda and that once the company was handed over to him, Amanda would be gone. He promised it was just an act to fool his father, nothing more. But his mother wasn't convinced. She told him that she didn't believe him. She had seen the way he looked at Amanda. She had noticed how much time they were spending together, how his eyes softened when she was around. There was no way this was just an act. His mother was sure that he had feelings for Amanda, even if he didn't want to admit it. Andrew tried to deny it, but his mother shook her head. She was too smart for that. She reminded him of how much the family had invested in his future. She didn't raise him to marry someone from the streets, someone without family, money, or status. She wasn't about to let all their hard work go to waste because of some girl. His father would never agree to this once he found out the truth. Andrew sighed, feeling trapped. He knew his mother wouldn't let this go easily. But he also knew that Amanda wasn't someone he could simply get rid of right now. She was a key part of his plan, and if his father found out the truth, everything would fall apart. As his mother left the room, Andrew sat down, his mind racing. He needed to figure out what to do before things got out of hand. The plan had worked so far, but now it was starting to unravel. When Andrew's mother got home, her anger was written all over her face. She stormed into the living room, where Andrew's father was sitting, reading the newspaper. Without waiting, she told him everything. about Amanda's past, how Andrew had lied to the family, and how he had deceived them into thinking he was in a serious relationship with her. She expected her husband to be just as furious, maybe even more. But to her surprise, he simply put down the paper, looked at her, and calmly replied that he didn't mind. Andrew's mother blinked in disbelief. She couldn't understand how her husband could be so calm about the situation. He explained that he had already grown fond of Amanda. He didn't care about her being poor. In fact, he liked Amanda's humble background. What truly mattered to him was that she was a kind and respectful young woman. The only thing that disappointed him was Andrew's dishonesty. He was upset that Andrew had lied about his relationship with Amanda, pretending it was something more serious than it really was. Apart from that, he had no issue with Amanda at all. Andrew's mother stood there speechless. She had expected her husband to share her anger, but instead, he was perfectly fine with everything. After a moment, she sat down, trying to process what he had said. Andrew's father picked up the phone and called Andrew, asking him to come over. When Andrew arrived, he looked tense, knowing this was likely about Amanda. He sat down in front of his parents, ready for what was to come. But to his surprise, his father spoke calmly. He admitted that he was hurt by the lie, but he wanted to know the truth now. Andrew hesitated for a moment, then he confessed. He told them that at first, he hadn't liked Amanda. The whole thing had been part of his plan to win his father's approval and secure the company. But over time, something changed. The more time he spent with Amanda, the more he realized how special she was. He had been afraid to admit it, but now he was in love with her. He didn't know how to tell her, especially after everything that had happened. His father smiled and told Andrew that he should go ahead and tell Amanda how he truly felt. He reminded Andrew that sometimes the most unexpected people could change your life. His father encouraged him to take the chance, saying that Amanda might feel the same way. Andrew was surprised by his father's support and decided to follow his advice. The next day, Andrew went to see Amanda. His heart was racing as he approached her apartment. He wasn't sure how she would react, but he knew he couldn't hide his feelings any longer. When Amanda opened the door, Andrew felt nervous. He sat down and, after taking a deep breath, told her everything. He explained how he had fallen in love with her, how he didn't expect it, and how much she meant to him now. Amanda listened quietly, and when Andrew finished, she smiled. To his surprise, she told him that she had loved him too, from the day they went to the party together. She had been waiting for him to say something, but didn't want to push him. Hearing her say that filled Andrew with joy. Right then and there, Andrew proposed to Amanda, and without hesitation, she accepted. They both felt a wave of happiness wash over them, knowing that their love was real. Meanwhile, Monica was still determined to ruin things for Andrew and Amanda. When she heard about Andrew's proposal, she couldn't believe it. Furious, she went to see Andrew's mother again, hoping to turn her against Amanda one last time. Monica ranted about how Amanda wasn't good enough for Andrew, how she was just a poor orphan who didn't belong in their family. But this time, Andrew's mother wasn't moved by her words. Instead, she looked Monica in the eye and told her that she wanted the best for her son. And right now, the best thing for Andrew was Amanda. She had seen how happy Amanda made Andrew, how his face lit up when she was around. Amanda had won her over, and now she was fully supportive of their relationship. Monica, stunned and humiliated, had no choice but to leave. A week later, unable to bear the shame of losing Andrew and her failed attempts to destroy his happiness, Monica packed her bags and left the country. She couldn't handle the embarrassment of being replaced by Amanda, someone she thought was far beneath her. Monica boarded a plane and left for Europe, where she hoped to start over, but deep inside she was filled with regret. She had tried everything to win Andrew back, but nothing had worked. Now she was forced to accept defeat, leaving in disgrace. With Monica gone, Andrew and Amanda's life became more peaceful. The tension that had surrounded their relationship slowly faded. 2 months later, after much planning and preparation, Andrew and Amanda stood before their family and close friends as they exchanged vows. The wedding was a beautiful, intimate ceremony held in the family's estate. Amanda, wearing a simple yet elegant white dress, looked radiant. Andrew couldn't take his eyes off her the entire time, still amazed by how far they had come. The man who once saw Amanda as just part of his plan was now standing beside her, deeply in love. As they exchanged their vows, Amanda's heart swelled with emotion. She had never imagined her life would take this turn. From being homeless on the streets to standing in front of Andrew, surrounded by love and acceptance, it all felt like a dream. Andrew, too, was overwhelmed by how much he had changed. He never thought he would fall in love with someone so different from what he had envisioned. Yet Amanda had become everything he didn't know he needed. After the ceremony, as they danced under the twinkling lights, Andrew's father raised a toast. He praised Amanda for her grace and resilience and welcomed her into the family wholeheartedly. His speech touched everyone, even bringing a tear to Andrew's mother's eye. Despite her earlier reservations, she had come to see Amanda's true worth. She was no longer concerned with Amanda's past or her background. What mattered now was the future they were all building together. As the night wore on, Andrew and Amanda found a quiet moment alone. Sitting together, watching the stars, Andrew took her hand and smiled. He told her how much he appreciated her, how grateful he was that she had entered his life. Amanda smiled back, her heart full. She told him that no matter what, she would always be there for him, just as he had been for her. They both knew they had faced challenges, but they were stronger for it. In the weeks that followed, Andrew's father officially handed over the company to him. With Amanda by his side, Andrew felt ready to take on the responsibility. Together, they started making plans for the future, both for their business and their personal lives. Amanda, who had once struggled just to survive, was now helping Andrew with his work, bringing her own insights and ideas. She became more than just his wife, she was his partner in every sense of the word. Dear viewers, what lessons did you take away from this dramatic tale? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed the story, give us a thumbs up, share it with friends, and hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss out on our latest updates. Thanks for watching and stay blessed.